Hello world, how everybody out there doing? Hopefully everybody doing sensational. Welcome to another episode of Generational Health and Self-Love. I'm your host, Light.
Run easy.
And today we want to give all the people out there our 5 ways of transitioning to a plant-based life. 5 ways that we think that we came up with that we think that can help you for those who want to transition, because we know some people out there who's been asking us, how did you become vegan? How did you start your plant-based journey? So we say, okay, you know what? Let's put together 5 ways that we think that can help you and others like you that want to transition into this lifestyle.
Yes, sir.
So you want to speak a little bit about what we're going to talk about?
Well, like you said, 5 ways to help us transition. We're gonna hit different topics as far as what can help you move on to the next part, like but slowly. More talking about the little things that you could do, and then we can go from little to bigger than that, and then to build up that rapport to help you finally make the switch later on.
Definitely, because it's a lot of people who kind of really don't understand, and they kind of like straddle the fence, and they don't know, if they really want to do it, or they don't know how to take that first step. So, like I said, we came up with these 5 different ways that we think that can help you take that transition into that plant-based lifestyle. So, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and start with number one. Number one, we came up with knowledge, educating yourself, because I know some people, they hear about it and they want to try it and they'll jump into it, and then they'll go back and they'll be like, well, it was hard, it was difficult. But for me, I want to tell you guys how I started. I did probably 7 to 9 months of just reading, educate myself. And back when I transitioned, it was in 2009. So we still had DVDs at the time. So I had DVDs, I had books, I had just different information to help me. I had dictionaries, looking up words and different things that can help me understand, build up the knowledge and the mental strength to really make that transition. Because if you don't have the knowledge, the understanding, it's going to be hard for you to just transition into a plant-based lifestyle. So like I say, for number one thing for you to do is to educate yourself. Understand, like, okay, the more knowledge you have, the stronger you are mentally to make that change. You want to speak on it a little bit?
Yeah, and I know he just touched finding knowledge in the more like getting books, looking at the research, but also what I found to help is doing experiments where you test out different things and you see how they affect your body and see how, because really you can listen to your body. If it's
Mm-hmm.
telling you that this is when you eat this happens, or you eat that happens, do that research and do write that down. That's where you can find the knowledge that's going to help you proceed in the next steps of transitioning. So take your own experiences and turn that into knowledge that you can use to help yourself grow.
Definitely, because without the education, it's you're bound to go back to what you know, because that's what you know. So educate yourself, build up as much information that you can, and then try to make that transition, because it'll become a little easier for you. And the biggest thing when anything that you do, when you change, doing some changes in your life, is just having that knowledge and that mental strength to make that decision to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm done with this lifestyle. I want to try this one, and hopefully that'll work for you. And so I want to go on to the next step.
Number two.
Number two is, what are the pros and cons? And what I mean by that, what are the pros and cons? Basically, what is the good things? What are the bad things? And I'm gonna tell you, for me, I feel like the number one thing is better overall health. That's something that once I made the transition, I was able to look back and say, this really helped me. I had asthma. Once I made that transition into a plant-based life, I no longer had asthma. That was something that I dealt with from a child all the way into my adult life, dealing with asthma, dealing with inhalers. Had a breathing machine, still got my breathing machine, just to remind me of where I came from and what I had to go through prior to becoming plant based. And to me, the cons to me are really it's not been really been none for me outside of maybe losing because I was pretty big, muscular. I did lose a lot of that. I lost probably like 70 pounds, and most of it was muscle. But you can also gain muscle again. Maybe not to where I was at, but you can also gain muscle back. But when I made the transition, that was the one thing I didn't know at the time that I can hold on to. So at the same time, it still serves me well because I'm in way better shape as far as not only physically but mental shape as well. Building my mind up, releasing that anger and things that had me mad, and sometimes those things we contribute to our appetite and the things that we put in our bodies. So really learning the pros and cons, that all the benefits that you would get from from transitioning to a plant based life. I think that the pros outweigh the cons. What did you have to say about that?
Well, to touch more on the cons part of things, and I also want to just say that he said how he lost weight when he transitioned, but I think that it was more on the fact that you were just beginning and you really didn't know everything or know how to substitute everything that you were eating with the transition diet. So I feel like that's more on that because, like you said, you can still build a lot of muscle and still be big while vegan.
Definitely.
So that's on that. But to hit another con that I would say, which is it won't it's a con in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't stay that because what I'm talking about is when you go on social outings and you go into restaurants, stores, or even if you're on your own sometimes and you want to just like it's not gonna be like fast food. It's not gonna be as
Convenient.
convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna be as convenient, but it's gonna be better for you in the long run. But also, what you'll kind of realize, like if you go out with friends and stuff, you shouldn't compromise or you should sacrifice your health for other people to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So because at the end of the day, they're not gonna go. Everybody's not gonna bend and change how they are to fit what you got going on. So you shouldn't have to sacrifice what you got going on to make them feel comfortable. So sometimes when you get out there, just get you some fries or something. That might be the con, I guess, is social outings, but that's just how it is sometimes.
Or just eat before you come. We don't. I mean, even I mean, because I mean, like when you go out, sometimes, like he say, we will do things just to make others happy when they're not willing to do the same for you. So I would say just until you get comfortable enough, maybe just skip some of the outings, because you don't want to have to deal with people looking at you and steady asking you questions. Why you not eating? Why you want to do this? Why you not? It's just because I'm trying to do something different, and sometimes people don't understand that in the beginning. So to avoid all those different things, maybe eat before you go to a social gathering, and maybe some places that go to a place that maybe have fruit. Don't too many places have fruit, but sometimes you can find or just a salad. Something that you can feel comfortable and not present yourself as being like, oh, I'm too good for that, because people start looking at you funny just because you won't eat. I went through that, and I think over a period of time, people start to understand where I was coming from, and we start to get along better when we go out socially, especially as family and friends. Okay, so that's the pros, that's the cons. Better all health, and then just not being worried about what others, feel when you do go out in a social outing, because some people they will have a lot to say. And if you allow them to really get underneath your skin, you probably will be upset. So that's number two. We're gonna go ahead on to number three. Number three, your why. And that's really huge for all of us. Why are you making this transition? And for me, I really can say the quality of life was really one of the best, maximizing my quality of life, because I started, like I say, in 2009, and wasn't too many people talking about vegan and plant based back in 2009. Not to say that wasn't around, but it's not as common as it is now. So my thing was seeing people that I love go through different health issues, and I just was like, trying to figure out why was these things happening. And so for me, I said, you know what? Let me figure some things out, because I don't want to go through some of the things I saw family members and friends go through. All the pain, being in the hospital, been on so many different medications, and just seeing how their life just went from the energetic, loving, just friendly person to just always sick, always feeling down, just all the energy and the life being sucked out of them. So I said, you know what? Before I even hit that stage, because I tell everybody prevention is the best cure. That's just what it is. Prevention is the best cure. So for me, I just wanted a better quality of life and learn how to love myself more. Self care, self love, all those things were a part of my why. Why do I want to make this transition? What is it going to do for me moving forward in my life? So learning what is your why is very important. And once you figure that out, it just helps you to move forward and transition into a plant-based vegan lifestyle.
Yeah, and for me, and really one of the biggest reasons why I'm doing all this is because in the beginning of the transition, and my why has evolved, because in the beginning, when you start changing up what you eat and how you function, you start asking a bunch of questions. And what I came to realize is like we're under attack physically, emotionally, in a bunch of different ways. And I started
Mm-hmm.
to wonder like why certain stuff was allowed here, but it's like certain foods and chemicals is banned everywhere else, but it's allowed here, or why this is in our food, that is in our food. It's like it's a lot of stuff that could be prevented and is affecting us in a bad way, but it's not. So I started asking a bunch of questions, and the big reason why I even want to do this on the podcast, talk to y'all, and why I changed my diet is because I realized people there's people out here trying to hinder us from being healthy or being better and growing. And I'm not like once I realize that I can't switch back to eating normal because I know that I'm under attack. We are literally like once you step back and look at everything like our air, food, water, like everything has been poisoned. So it's like what's really going on? And the more you get into like switching up on that stuff, you start to realize the biggest scheme of things, what's really going on. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I even do all of this, and why I can't transition, like why I wouldn't go back to being to eating meat and all the other stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, so understanding your why is very important. We're going to go on to number four. Number four is very big. I want to say it's really important. Health issues. And that's kind of like to piggyback off what he was just saying. Health issues are like huge nowadays. Everything has grown over the last 20, 30 years as far as the different health issues that we're faced with. There's more diabetes in the world. There's more people on high blood pressure medication. I didn't even know that so many people were on high blood pressure medication until I started just having conversations and people knowing that I'm plant based, and so they would ask me different questions, and during the conversation I would find out that they were on high blood pressure medication, and I'm like, some of these people younger than me, some of these people the same age as me, and I'm like, you on more than one different high blood pressure medication? They like on two or three different medications, two being excuse me, two being high blood pressure medication. And I'm like, how do you have two different high blood pressure medication? Why are you not just taking one? It just didn't make no sense to me. And they like, well, looking at me like, well, as we get older, and they're seeing like there's no decline in my health, and they asking me like, what do you do? Like, what are you doing different that you're not on medication and you're not? Because they like, well, One of the main things you hear people say it's hereditary. High blood pressure running my family, and I try to tell them, no disrespect, because people are looking at me like you're not a doctor, you don't know what you're talking about. But at the same time, I don't have any health issues, so I'm like, it's not really that high blood pressure or diabetes running your family. It's your eating habits. Those are the things that run in your family. If you take a look at what your parents ate and your grandparents ate, we follow that same tradition of eating. So those things causes most of our health issues. It's the processed food. It's the different things that we're putting in our body. So health issues is really something that we really need to take a look at, because so many people are being diagnosed with all these different diseases, and they on pill after pill after pill after pill, and that's just not the way to correct whatever it is your body is going through. So I want to say health issues is number four, and that's something that we really need to pay attention to.
When it comes to the transitional part, I would think that the health issues would be like trying to figure out what you see that's common, or what you see that if you go to the doctor, what is like the problem that you are facing, and then you can do the research and figure out the different things that'll help, like your diet that you can add to your diet, or what you can subtract from your diet to help you in the process of transitioning, so that you can figure out what specific things that you can use to add in to your diet that'll help you drop the old stuff and switch it out with the new, and help you with that transitioning process.
So health issues, really take that serious. And some people, they get a little nervous when it comes to health issues, and so they just go like everybody else do and just follow what everybody else do. We go to the doctor, we go get this prescription, and we go to CVS, Walgreens, and get this medication, and keep doing this and keep doing this, and those things are suppressing the body and making you even worse. So really pay attention to the health issues, and like he said, do your own research as well. So that way you can feel confident in whatever decision you decide to make. Now, this is the final one, the last one. And this one, to me, is really huge. It can determine whether you go left or right, and whether you make that decision to transition or not. And number five is not being afraid of what others may think, because that is huge, especially within our own family. Because, when we have these family gatherings, we have family reunions, we have birthdays, we have different, celebrating holidays, and we all come together, and everybody looking at you. You the only one ain't touched the meat. You ain't eating no chicken, you ain't eating no pork chop, you ain't eating no meatloaf, and everybody like, what's wrong with you? Why you ain't eating? And you tell them, well, I don't eat that no more. I've transitioned to a plant-based vegan lifestyle. And, oh man, so people, they don't really see themselves in what they do, but they make fun of you. They made fun of me, but I got alligator skin, so it didn't really bother me. But it was something that I had to deal with for a few years throughout my transition into a plant-based vegan lifestyle. I would go around, all you eat is lettuce and fries, and everybody laughing, and it's a joke, and it's funny. And man, you don't eat chicken no more. What's wrong with you? Something got to be wrong with you. Why you don't eat chicken? There's nothing wrong with me. It's just that I've done my research, and from my research and the different things that I read and did my own, like he said, do my own experiment on myself. I was my own guinea pig. So I seen the effects of meat, not eating processed food, and what it did for me physically, mentally, and spiritually. So I chose just to back away from it. And to each his own. We're not telling you this just because we're trying to force our lifestyle onto you. We're just telling you this for those who out there who's like on the fence. And they want to change, they want to do something different, but they don't know how to. So this is why we came up with these 5 different ways to help you transition. So one of the biggest, and this could, I know we talked about health, I know we talked about knowledge and educating yourself and all those things, pros and cons, but not being afraid of what others may think about you is real serious, because it's almost on the line of being bullied. You know, if you see a young child or someone in school being bullied, they start to act a certain way. They start to change. They start to do things a little different because they want people to like them. So don't allow people to make you do things that you don't want to do because you're afraid of what they're gonna say or think about
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that one up because when I first was doing my transition, I was in high school, so you can only imagine all the stuff that was I probably went through while transitioning. But at the end of the day, people gonna make jokes,
you.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's really funny. I took it when I was in high school. I thought it was all funny. Like they would say, "Oh, what you gonna do? Go get some. You can go eat outside the grass, or go with the tree." Blah, blah, blah. They was like one joke that I really liked was like. It was like, what you gonna do when winter come? Because everything gonna be like froze over. Like you can't eat none of the grasses outside or the trees. I'm like, okay, bro. It'd be funny, but over time, I would say like they can't really do too much, but like realize or like I would say respect it because after a while they will see the benefits of what you're doing because
Mm-hmm.
I realize the the comments that would be said evolved into like oh when I would be doing like when I would have a bunch of energy all the time they're like oh or when I would like just be moving around real fast or picking up stuff that's like super heavy. They oh that's that vegan energy or that's that vegan or that blah blah blah. That's comments that I would get or stuff like that, and that's because over time they can see how it's affected how I act and I'm doing stuff more. I'm running. I'm trying hard. Just a bunch of different things. So over time, yeah, the comments won't stop, but you'll actually, I mean, it really don't matter. It shouldn't affect you that much, but over time, you know, the people around you will start seeing how the change in what you're doing is affecting you, and I mean, they'll still. I would say the comments will change too, and that kind of will respect it depending on who you're around. But yeah,
Yeah, they start asking you for advice too. They start saying, you know what you
yes,
think about this, and well, I was thinking about doing this, and like, and that's what it's kind of transitioning to, like people calling me about their blood pressure, and now everybody asking me about all these different things that and when I first started, I never got that, but then over time they say, man, you still healthy, you running, you jump, you doing all these things, and you
yeah.
don't eat no meat. Where you getting your protein from?
Man, it's funny that you say that because one of my main friends that would had always had a grass joke or a tree joke. Right now, I'm helping him work out, and he asked me, what should he like do, and all this other stuff. But it's just funny because yeah, he's the same friend that was making the jokes and all that. But now, like you said, they
Mm-hmm.
asking for help about certain things, which I'm okay with. Like I said, the jokes always been fun and games in the beginning, but that's just to show you that eventually, like I said, it's not just short term; it's a long term thing, but it'll turn around, and that'll be the case.
It's a lifestyle change. So just take it serious if that's what you want to do. Like I say, if you want to, hopefully these top 5 ways that we just went through, maybe these things can help you if you're one of those people that's on the fence or you one of those people that's been thinking about it but just don't know how to make that process into transition into a plant-based vegan lifestyle. So I just want to say to all the people out there, I'm with you on the journey. If you ever need anything, go into the comments. Let us know if you have any questions. We definitely will respond to any questions. So like, share, subscribe. We love y'all. Peace. Take care.
And
Thank
also,
you.
real quick, we might, depending on if you gotta get like what 10 likes on the video, we'll get into like the top 10 substitutes for the regular foods that we can transition to vegan or vegetarian, plant based.
I like that. So definitely get in the comments. We love to hear from our followers. Get in the comments. Let us know if you like the information and you want more of it.
Like the vid.
Like, peace and love. Take care.